Very good morning, students. My name is Bhaskar. I am working as physics faculty member for our senior secondary program in Viva the School. As you are a part of this program, so myself, I will give you some guidance how to learn physics. Generally, students feel physics as a difficult subject. It is not at all difficult. If you have some interest towards the learning of concepts, and if you have some mathematics fundamentals, physics is not at all a difficult subject. In order to learn physics, we should have sound knowledge in mathematics, since mathematics is the language of physics, said by Sir Albert Einstein. What Albert Einstein said? Mathematics is the language of physics. So those students who are well with their mathematics fundamentals, they are obviously well in physics. That's why we are starting our 11th class physics program with basic mathematics. What we learned from our school standards, right from our 6th class to 10th class, whatever fundamental ideas we learned in the branch of mathematics, which are very much essential to develop or to express all the concepts of physics. So we are starting with some basic mathematics, basic mathematical formulae. Basic mathematical formulae for physics. For physics. Basic mathematical formulae for physics. Basic mathematical formulae for physics. Mathematics consists of various branches like algebra, trigonometry, geometry, calculus, algebra, trigonometry, geometry, calculus, and mensuration. So like this, in every branch we are learning certain fundamentals. All those fundamentals are very much essential for learning physics. Right from the first chapter, if you want to calculate the velocity, you should take the ratio of displacement by time taken. Otherwise, you should take the slope of the graph drawn between displacement and time. Displacement and time. You will get velocity. So you require the concept of slope. Concept of slopes comes from geometry. Concept of slope comes from geometry. And in order to find the slope, you require some knowledge of trigonometry. For doing all the simplification, you require the knowledge of algebra. So all these branches, what we learned from 6th to 10th, are very much essential for learning physics at the 11th and 12th stage and forever. Let me summarize some of the formulae what we learned in your schooling days once again as a list here. And some symbols, if you see some symbols, what are the general mathematics symbols we are using? Is equal to. Is equal to. Another symbol, not equal to. Another symbol, proportionally. Proportionality. Almost similar delta x, dx, dx by dt, integral. These are the various symbols we are observing. What it is? Equal to. What it is? Not equal to. What is this? proportional to. It is similarly equal to, similar to, or nearly equal to. Delta x means large change in x, large change in x. Very small change in x. Later, dx by dt, that means change in x with respect to t. Change in x with respect to t. And this is a symbol of integral. It is called rate. Change in x with respect to t means time. Any quantity which is changing with respect to time is called rate. D by dt is called rate. D by dr, change in x with respect to t, is nothing but rate of change in x. Change in x with respect to r, it is called gradient. Gradient means change in x with respect to distance. Change in x with respect to time is called rate. Change in x with respect to distance is called gradient. Like that, you have many symbols. First of all, we should have some idea about the symbols. You can write A is equal to B. That means both are equal. A is not equal to B. Both are not equal. A is proportional to B. That means if you increase B value, A value also increases. A is similar to B. That means A value and B value are nearly equal. Delta A, if you write, there is a large change in A value, which is represented by delta A. dA, if you write, a very small change in A value. Okay, change in x value with respect to time is called rate. Change in x value with respect to distance is called gradient, and it is called integration. Integration is nothing but summation. You are going to learn about the integration and these derivatives in the branch of calculus that we are going to discuss in coming days. Today, let us understand some of the formulae what we learned under the heading of mensuration. Mensuration is nothing but measurement of areas, volumes, circumference, perimeter. All those areas comes under the concept of mensuration. What are the various formulae we learned in mensuration? Let us see. The basic formulae what we studied right from our 6th class, I am just going to summarize them. You just make a note of these formulae in your notes. Whenever you open the notes, first of all, you just go through these formulae once or twice, such that you will never forget them, such that you will never face or feel physics as a difficult subject. So first idea what we are going to learn is some mensuration formulae. Mensuration formulae. You tell me some shapes known to you. For every shape, we will find some area, circumference, perimeter, like that. So most familiar shape to us is the square, a rectangle, a triangle, and a circle. Tell me some formula related to this. Square means both sides are identical. For square, what you will say? Area. Area means side into side, side square. And its perimeter. Perimeter is length of all the sides. That is nothing but 4L. Perimeter is 4L. Similarly, for rectangle, length and breadth are different. So what is the area? Area of a rectangle is length into breadth. What is its perimeter? Perimeter means the total length of its boundary. The total length of its boundary. So 2 L's are there, 2 B's are there. 2L plus 2B, or you can write 2 into L plus B is the perimeter for rectangle. What is the first shape? Square. Second shape? A rectangle. The third shape? The triangle. For triangle, there are 3 sides. A, B, C are 3 vertices. AB is a side, BC is a side, AC is a side. Generally, sides are represented with small letters. Opposite to A, angle A, we are representing small a. Opposite to B, we are representing small b. Opposite to C, we are representing small c. So what is the area of triangle? Area of triangle is defined as half into base into height. Half into base into height. Here base length is A, height is h. If you draw a perpendicular here, right from this vertex, the height of the triangle can be found. So half into base value A into height value h for the given triangle. Similarly, for circle there is a center O, it is called radius R. What is the area? Area of a circle is pi r square and its perimeter or circumference is 2 pi r. The derivation for these formulas you learnt earlier. You just go through your school textbooks, you will come to know. At least you should remember the formula related to the particular figure. This is the fourth figure we discussed about circle. Later, in a circle itself, we have diameter. D is the diameter. Diameter have value twice the radius. Then area, actually pi r square, then radius is equal to diameter by 2. You can write it as pi into d by 2 whole square, pi d square by 4. Similarly, circumference. General formula in terms of radius is 2 pi r. So you can write it as pi into 2 r pi d. And if you write units, area has units meter square. Perimeter means total length of the boundary, nothing but meters. Here also meter square, meters, meter square in MK system. Here also area is meter square, it is meters. Here also it is meter square, it is meters. Those are the units for the particular shapes. Now let us go to three-dimensional shapes. These are all 2D shapes. 2D shapes, two-dimensional shapes. Let us discuss some 3D shapes. We have a sphere completely filled with some matter. Solid sphere like iron ball. Generally, a metal sphere like simple pendulum bob. It is having some radius r. So for three-dimensional shapes we have volume formula. So what is the volume of this? What is the volume of a sphere? Volume is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, and its surface area is 4 pi r square. Volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube and surface area is 4 pi r square. In terms of diameter, if you want, again you substitute r is equal to d by 2, you will get the formula for volume and surface area in terms of diameter. And here we will have two more shapes. Let us draw them here. Spherical shell. Spherical shell. That means a sphere which is having air inside or vacuum inside. That means a thin shell it is. No material is available here. It is completely filled with the same material. Suppose if it is a copper sphere, entire sphere is, even at the center you will have copper everywhere. But here you will have air inside or vacuum inside this. A thin surface will be there like this. Thin surface means very small. Its radius is r, thickness is dr. Very small thickness dr. Such an arrangement is called spherical shell. If you see about spherical shell, what is the volume of material used? Actually, volume of the sphere means 4 by 3 pi r cube only. Volume of material is equal to question mark. If they ask you, you know that density is equal to mass by volume. Density is equal to mass by volume. So whenever we want volume, you should divide mass by density. Mass by density. Okay. Now, how to calculate this? How to calculate the volume of the material? Mass by density. What is its length? Length of this content? 2 pi r into thickness dr. 2 pi r dr will give the, in 2-dimensional. In 3-dimensional? In 3 dimension? In 3 dimension, the same formula. Surface area into thickness volume and area into thickness. Area 4 pi r square, thickness dr. So that is the volume of the material used for generating this spherical shell. Volume of the material used for this spherical shell to be made. Next, we discuss about hollow sphere. This is solid sphere. We are going to discuss about hollow sphere. Spherical shell and hollow sphere are almost same, but in case of hollow sphere, the thickness is quite heavy. Inner radius is R1, outer radius is R2. So what is the volume of material used here? Again, volume is equal to volume of material is equal to area into, or simply instead of outer sphere volume is 4 by 3 pi capital R2 cube minus 4 by 3 pi capital R1 cube, by using this formula, by subtracting the volume of outer sphere and volume of inner sphere. This is volume of outer sphere minus volume of inner sphere will give the volume of material. This is called hollow sphere. What is the difference between spherical shell and hollow sphere? If thickness is considerable, that is called hollow sphere. If thickness is very small, that is considered as spherical shell. What is the volume of material used means you can calculate using that. Sometimes they may ask you density. Density means mass by volume you should take. Otherwise, volume can be calculated by taking the ratio of mass and density. Here density is not provided, mass is not provided. That's why we used mensuration formula for doing this. In physics, if you are provided with mass and density, you can go for this formula. Okay. Next shape I would like to describe is the cylinder. Next shape is the cylinder. This is the shape. Solid cylinder. Entire shape is made with the same material. This cylinder is having length L. This is called axis of cylinder. Axis of cylinder. From the center of the base to the edge, this is called radius. So what is the volume of cylinder? Volume of cylinder. Volume is equal to area into height. What is the base area? Pi r square into height is L. Pi r square L is the volume of the cylinder. Later, for the cylinder, we have lateral surface area. Lateral surface area. Generally, we call it as LSA. Lateral surface area means area around it. We are not going to consider the cross-sectional areas. We are only considering only the surface which is available around it. The total circular area. How to calculate? So if you cut this, if you open it, it is almost like rectangle. The base length is nothing but circumference of this circle, 2 pi r. Height is L. So area is 2 pi r L. If you want total surface area, total surface area. Total surface area, we are writing it as total surface area TSA. Lateral surface area plus 2 times of pi r square. 2 cross-sectional areas I am going to add. So that is 2 pi RL plus 2 pi r square. If you take 2 pi r as common, L plus r. 2 pi r into L plus r is the total surface area. Next, let us discuss about cone. Let us discuss about cone. If you take a cone, the shape is like this. Here also we will have circular base. This is the height. And you are given height as h and radius of the base as r. Radius of the base as r. This angle is called semi-vertex angle. This angle is called semi-vertex angle. Semi-vertex angle. Now, if you want the volume of this cone, you can calculate volume is equal to 1/3 pi r square h. 1/3 pi r square h will give the volume. If you want lateral surface area, its formula is pi r into square root of r square plus h square. Similarly, if you want total surface area, the total surface area is pi r into square root of r square plus h square plus r. By using these formulae, you can calculate lateral surface area. Lateral surface area means surface area around the cone, and total surface area means around the cone with cross-sectional area. Cross-sectional area is pi r square. So this is lateral surface area, this is total surface area, this is the volume of the given cone. Later, next shape. we are going to understand is ellipse. Next shape is ellipse. All the planets are revolving around the sun in elliptical orbit. So there we require the concept of this ellipse. Ellipse is a shape like this. Here, this is called major axis. This is called minor axis. Half of the major axis is called semi-major axis, represented with A. Half of the minor axis is called semi-minor axis with B. Okay, semi-major axis A, semi-minor axis is B. A is called semi-major axis. B is called semi-minor axis. By knowing the values of A and B, we can calculate the circumference. The circumference formula is 2 pi into root of A square plus B square by 2. 2 pi into square root of A square plus B square by 2. This is the formula for circumference of an ellipse. And area of the ellipse. How to calculate area? Generally pi r square if it is a circle. But A is not equal to B. Here A is greater than B. So pi AB we are taking. Pi AB will be the formula for area of the ellipse. Now, let us go to the next shape. If you observe some more shapes, this shape is called parallelogram. These two sides are parallel to each other, these two sides are parallel to each other. Such an arrangement of four sides is called parallelogram. Theta is the angle between the two sides. If you want area of this parallelogram, you should take base into height. Base length is B. Height, if you want to calculate, you should extend this and you should draw a perpendicular onto the extended side. This will give the height. So base into height will give the area. And if you observe a triangle here, so from the triangle concept you will get area as AB sin theta. AB sin theta. Okay. Similarly, area of the parallelogram you can calculate using this. Later we will discuss about this concept. Now, trapezoid. Trapezoid also having parallel sides. Only one set of parallel sides are here. Here are two sets of parallel sides are there. Here only one set of parallel sides are there. And this is the height of the trapezoid. Then area is given by h by 2 into a plus b. Here a bar is parallel to b bar. Remaining two are not parallel to each other. You can use this formula. Already we have seen for triangle, area is half into base into height. In terms of sin theta, if you want, you know the sin theta. What is sin theta? Opposite side by hypotenuse. So what is sin gamma here? Sin gamma is opposite side. This is a right angle triangle. In right angle triangle, opposite side having height h by hypotenuse a. So h can be replaced with a sin gamma. H can be replaced with a sin gamma. So in the place of h, I wrote a sin gamma. Already b by 2 is there. So ab by 2 sin gamma will give the area of the triangle. Similarly, the area of the triangle can also be found using root of s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c, where s is the average of the three sides. You have this formula also in your school standard. Try to remember this formula. Wherever they are required, we are going to use in physics. If you see a disc can have circular cross section with a thickness t. If you want volume, base area into height. Base area is pi r square, height is nothing but thickness. Pi r square t will give the volume. Similarly, rectangular parallelepiped, if you see, you will have length, breadth and height. If all the three are given in meters, length into breadth into height will give the volume, and total surface area is given by 2 into LB plus BH plus HL meter square. So similarly, we have so many shapes in geometry. For every shape, you will find either total surface area or lateral surface area or volume. So depending on the nature of shape, we will get certain formula. All those formulae comes under mensuration concept. So you just go through this mensuration concept, and we will see how they are useful in physics in coming lectures. Thank you.